get a bunch of rain down Montevallo?
Yeah, pretty decent amount.
When I left here, not even 5 minutes down the road, it started coming a downpour, and about a good 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so, it was.
Yeah.
Got a flood warning alert.
Yeah. That's what's so good about this. We could have played 10 minutes after the rain.
Yep. Bad thing was those storms. We got lucky. They'll finish the ones we did.
They had some issues last night over here. They were pissed.
About the lightning?
Yeah, this one stayed way longer than they should have. They should have called it at least when all the other ones did.
Yeah.
And I guess...
they finished it this morning, didn't they?
Yeah, but I guess Shoals was up 2-0 the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they felt... Then, like, as they were still playing, they ended up getting down 6-2. And they're like, we should have been off the field, blah, blah, blah. But they were...
I think he said they had a grand slam walk-off
Yeah.
to beat them. That probably didn't sit well either.
No.
For letting that happen. That would be the call of these people up here. Should be.
Well, it's all of the umpire. I don't know which one, but and then I think there's some nana with the fans too. But
good grief.
But I think they were finishing that game. But they were done.
Wow. I hate that, man. That shouldn't have been on them.
Yeah.
Just like here. I mean, you know that they saw the lightning in the flashing background.
Oh, yeah.
And
well, they should go into it knowing that either they make it or somebody up here makes it. They should have worked that out before
We have our first game of the day here on Friday. This game was originally scheduled for last night at 7 o'clock, was postponed due to inclement weather, lightning, and thunderstorms. So this game, now the 11 o'clock game, game number 7 of the 2024 NJCAA Division II South District Championship. This game will feature the Central Alabama Community College Trojans versus the South Florida Community College Panthers here today. The Trojans got here by way of victory over Bevel State in our first game here on Field 1 yesterday, winning 9-4 over Bevel State. South Florida arrived at this juncture, defeating Bishop State 10-8. So the winner of this game will go on to face the winner of St. John's River and Marion Military. That is about to start now as well. That game will be at 1:30 on Field 5. So the winner of this will move over to Field 5 and face the winner of St. John's River and Marion. Central Alabama is the home team, and they will take the field first, and we'll have a rundown of their position players. Bailey Trammell will be in left field for Central Alabama. In center field is Jaden Buff, who had one of the most spectacular catches of the day yesterday out there in center field against Bevel State. In right field will be Morgan Brewer today. Morgan was a designated player yesterday. She'll be in right field. And at third base, Kelby Johnson. Shortstop, Gracie Mills. Second base will be Blair Darby. Ackerman played there yesterday. And at first base will be Brooke Milner. Catcher will be Campbell Hecklinski. And Jenna Castleberry will be the pitcher for the Trojans. For South Alabama, leading off will be Kaylin Holcomb, number 23. She's the center fielder for the Panthers. Everybody is just about set here as we have 5 games going on at the same time here this morning here at Veterans Park. First pitch outside, ball 1. Central Alabama, the number 1 seed in this tournament, led their conference with 28-4 record. They're 37-15 overall. Now, ball 3 to Holcomb. And Holcomb will draw the first walk of the game. Now batting will be Summer Washburn, number 1. She's the catcher for the Panthers. First pitch, strike. As Castleberry will throw her first strike of the game. Second pitch, ball up and away. Panthers would love to get in the scoring column first here against the Trojans, as Castleberry now has thrown 6 balls and just 1 strike to the 2 batters. That pitch fouled off, so it'll be a 2-2 count now. No outs. We're just underway. And Washburn will swing and miss for our first strikeout of the game. Castleberry comes back after a 2-0 count to strike Washburn out. Next up will be number 3, Brielle Rosa, the left fielder. She swings, hits a fly ball to left field. Runner doesn't tag. That's Holcomb. Stays at first, and so we'll have 2 outs now. Coming up will be Trinity Rower, the shortstop for the Panthers. Check swing. No strike called. 1-0 count. They'll appeal to the first base umpire, and he will say no swing. So runner still at first for South Florida. That's Holcomb, the leadoff batter, by way of walk. 1-1 count. Here to Roar. After all the weather we had yesterday, from beginning of the day to the last pitch, it's turned out to be a beautiful day here at Veterans Park as pop up to the second baseman. So South Florida gets on base with a walk, leaves 1 stranded, no runs as we head to the bottom of the first. Trojans will be coming back when we come back here on JockJive.com. Back at Veterans Park here as the Trojans ready for their turn at bat here in the bottom of the first. No score. With Campbell Miklinski up to bat. Miklinski had a big day yesterday. Scored 2 runs. Had an RBI against Bevel State. 1-1 count to Campbell. Miklinski batted .394 with 55 stolen bases, so they definitely like to get her in scoring position as quickly as possible. Swung on and missed. 2-2 count now. She scored a total of 70 runs to lead the Trojans. Here's a slapper down to second baseman, and she throws over to first for the first out for the Trojans. That was Portia Rodriguez that fielded that. Next up will be Jaden Buff. Buff had a sacrifice bunt, a pop-up, and a walk in yesterday's game. First pitch, strike. Defensively for South Florida in center field, Holcomb. At catcher's Washburn. Rosa in left field, Rohr at shortstop, Guzman at third, Rodriguez at second, Underwood at first, Mercado in left, and Pralant is the pitcher, Brayley Pralant, pitcher for South Florida Panthers. 0-2 count to Buff. Pitch hit foul off the light pole. During last night's final game on the field to our right, foul ball went through the window in the press box and hit one of our cameras and shattered the lens. Sounded like a lightning pop, had everybody on edge when that happened. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. As we are in the bottom of the first. Another pitch foul. Game to our left yesterday that went running late and have completed this morning had a total of 6 bases loaded situations during that game. And this morning when they completed that game, had several walks before a walk-off grand slam to win. We had 2 pretty quick games yesterday here on Field 1. Central Alabama and Bevel State and St. John's River and Wallace Dothan as going down on strikes is Jaden Buff. She'll swing and miss for out 2. Next up will be Morgan Brewer, number 7, the right fielder. Brewer played left field yesterday. Big swing and miss for strike 1. Another big swing, strike 2. Brewer scored 68 runs for the Trojans this season, 17 home runs and 87 RBIs, 38 walks, 5 stolen bases. She had a sacrifice bunt, a single for RBI yesterday as she goes down on strikes, and that'll be the 3rd out as we head to the top of the 2nd. No score yet here between the Trojans and the Panthers. Be back shortly here on JockJive.com. Back at Veterans Park here, as coming to the plate now for the Panthers will be Samlins Guzman, the third baseman. She wears number 13. Back in the circle for the Trojans, Jenna Castleberry. South Florida was able to get a runner on to lead the game off by way of walk, a strikeout, and 2 pop-ups to finish the top of the first and bottom of the second, or first, top of the second here, as 0-2 count now to number 5 batter Guzman. One, 2 count now. As she shows bunt, we'll pull it back, swing on, little chopper to third. The throw over to third is low, but in time. So Guzman gets the first out on a grounder to third. Next up will be number 15, Portia Rodriguez, the second baseman for the Panthers. Kelby Johnson, the recipient of that grounder there, and made a nice throw over to Wilson at first. A little low, but Wilson was able to scoop it up. Two-0 count to Rodriguez. Three-0 count now. Rodriguez gets the first by way of walk. Next up be Kaylee Underwood, the first baseman. She wears number 10 for the Panthers. First pitch outside, ball 1. One out here in the top of the second. Runner at first is Rodriguez. Underwood would like to at least move her over during this at bat as she shows bunt. First baseman comes charging in, and Darby over to cover at first, no throw. Here's a hit to center field. Going back is Buff. She'll catch it, no throw. So it'll be the second out of the inning. Next up will be Soli Mercado, the left fielder, wears number 8. She'll come up with 2 outs. Runner at first is Rodriguez. Pitch inside, strike 1. Strike 2 to Mercado. Next pitch outside. 1-2 count now with 2 outs. Here's a high fly ball to left field. Planting over there is Trammell, and she makes the catch for the third out. Oh, the top of the second. We're headed to the bottom of the second. No score. One left on base for South Florida. We'll return here shortly here on JockJive.com. Back in the circle for the Panthers, Braley Prylant. And now coming to plate for the Trojans, number 22, Brooke Milner. She's a designated player. Milner got on base with a walk, hit 2 grounders and a pop-up yesterday against Bevel State. Scored 55 runs this year, 9 home runs and 56 RBIs. Ball outside. Gets away from Washburn. 2-1 count to Milner. Another pitch outside to Milner. Be 3-1 now. Milner draws the walk. As all 4 balls were on the outside part of the plate. Next up will be Kelby Johnson, the third baseman. She wears number 8. She had a walk, a strikeout, hit into a double play, and another grounder yesterday against Bevel. No score here as we're in the bottom of the second. Johnson hit 13 home runs and 58 RBIs and drew 36 walks, which was second best on this Trojan team. Back live at Veterans Park here in Alabaster. First batter, Kelby Johnson of this inning, flew out to third base for the first out, and now another fly out for Blair Darby. So that'll be the second out of the game. Second out of the inning. We are in the bottom of the fourth. Your score 2-0. Central Alabama got on board by way of Blair Darby's home run, 2-run home run. Brooke Milner was on base at the time. And the Panthers have left a couple stranded, 3 runners stranded in the game. Here's a shot to left field. Pop up and making a diving catch over there in left field is Shelly Mercado for the third out of the inning. And we'll head to the top of the fifth when we return here on JockJive.com. Back at Veterans Park in Alabaster as we head to the top of the fifth. Your score 2-0. Central Alabama Trojans on top. Lady Panthers batting now. Caitlin Holcomb, who's had a walk and a single in the game so far. She's one of the three base runners for South Florida in this ball game. Castleberry has done a nice job keeping them at bay, and her defense has also helped her out as making several spectacular defensive plays already in this game. 1 ball, 1 strike to Holcomb. Here's the pitch. Check that. That's Oyster batting instead of Holcomb. Designated player. She flew out in the fourth and grounded out in the third. Here's a pitch in the 5-6-0 out in left field. So Oyster will lead the inning off with a single for the Panthers. Good at bat for Oyster. So now we're headed top of the lineup for the Panthers. Holcomb at the plate. Here's a dribbler to the pitcher. The throw over to first gets her in time. Oyster advances to second. Holcomb done her job as getting the runner slid over to second. Here's a hit in the 5-6-0, sliding in, safe is Oyster. As Mills fielded that grounder and dove to try to tag Oyster, and Oyster done a nice job sliding to the front part of the bag around that tag. So Washburn safe at first on the fielder's choice. Runners at first and third now for the Panthers. Pitch swung on, foul back. That's Brielle Rosa, number 3, the left fielder. Pitch inside low as heading down to second is Washburn. So runners at second and third now with one out for the Panthers. By far their best scoring opportunities in this game. Big at bat for Rosa here as the left fielder popped up in the first and struck out in the third. And now hits a blooper into left field. That'll score a run, maybe two. Checking up at third is Washburn. And coming around to score will be Oyster for the first run of the game. Rosa with a nice hit. Advances down to second on the throw. So South Florida on top, or trails by one, but has runners at second and third with one out. Definitely threatening here in the top of the fifth. The pitch low inside. Ball two. One out. The pitch inside. 3-0 count now. Pitch called strike. 3-1 count now. Great situation, great place to be in for Trinity Royer here. Base hit might would score two. Here's a shot up the middle. One run will score. Coming around third and coming home to score as well is Rosa. So Royer comes up with a 2 RBI single. As South Florida takes the 3-2 lead. Now batting Samlis Guzman, who grounded out in the second inning. Pops this one up. Coming over to get it is the first baseman, Kristen Wilson. A big out there for the Trojans. Next up is Portia Rodriguez, who in her last at bat hit a double. Our only double of the game for the Panthers. Fouls first pitch back. 3 runs in this inning for the Panthers as they've come roaring back to take the lead in this game. Here in the top of the fifth. Pitch, rise ball, up. Pitch low and inside. Ball two. Pitch foul back. 2-2 count, 2 outs. 2-2-2s. High fly ball to center field. Camping out up under it is the center fielder, Jaden Buff, for the third out of the inning. But South Florida gets 3 runs. 3 runs, leaves 1 stranded as we head to the bottom of the fifth. Your score 3-2, South Florida. South Florida Panthers get 3 runs in the top of the fifth to take the 3-2 lead. The Trojans' bats have been kind of quiet here this afternoon, as the only extra base hit by way of home run by Blair Darby, as making a diving catch is Portia Rodriguez in foul territory, covered a lot of ground there, and was able to make that catch for the first out of the inning. Big out there by Rodriguez. Next up will be Gracie Mills, the shortstop for the Trojans. Mills with 18 RBIs on the season, 6 stolen bases. Two-0 count to Mills. Two one count to Mills. This pitch just a tad low. The hitters count here 3-1. She takes that pitch and called strike, full count. Now to Mills. This one hit up the middle. Base hit single for Gracie Mills. And now we're back at top of the order for Campbell McClinsky, who grounded out in the first and the second inning. Klinsky, very good hitter for this Trojan team. Batted .394, 32 RBIs, 30 walks, and 55 stolen bases. And she's had 1 stolen base today and had 1 yesterday. Pitch down the middle, called strike. 0-2 count to McClinsky. Trojans are where they want to be in their batting order, as Mills done her job in the 9 spot and got on with 1 out. And here's a pop-up. Catcher and third baseman collide. But able to make the catch there was Washburn. Guzman come crashing in and called for the ball, but I'm not for sure if we heard Washburn call it. Could have been a dangerous situation there. Now batting is Jaden Buff, the center fielder. She struck out in the first, got a walk in the third, and now bats with a runner at first and Mills with 2 outs. Oh, 2 count now to Buff. Big swing and miss. Big strikeout for Prylant as we head to the top of the 6th. Your score 3-2. South Florida on top. Back at Veterans Park in Alabaster as the South Florida Panthers took the 3-2 lead in the last inning. And now we're at the top of the 6th. Your score 3-2. South Florida on top. Batting now will be Kaylee Underwood, who popped up in the 2nd inning, grounded out in the 4th inning. And the Panthers would like to tack on a couple insurance runs here in this inning. Pitch, swung, hit over the shortstop. The throw low, able to get it in time and scoop it up was the first baseman, Kristen Wilson. Next up will be Shelly Mercado. Deep hit to left field, racing over to get it is the left fielder Bailey Trammell. And that'll be the 2nd out of the inning, as Trammell has had several good catches out in left field today in this ballgame. Didn't play in left field yesterday. Not even sure she entered in the game yesterday, but has stepped in and done a good job out there today. Morgan Brewer was over in left field yesterday. She's in right field today as Blair Darby moves to 2nd as the grounder to Darby. Throws over to first for the 3rd out of the inning. And we'll move to the bottom of the 6th when we return. Trojans look to take the lead back when we come back. We're in the bottom of the second. Your score 3-0. It's a deep ball over to left field, and crossing over the foul line to make the catch was left fielder Shelly Mercado. So that'll be the first out of the inning. That was Brewer that flew out. Next up will be Brooke Milner. Milner drew a walk in the second inning and scored when Darby hit the 2-run home run. Flew out to the catcher in the third inning. Pitch outside. Lunging over to get it is Washburn. As this South Florida team battled with Bishop State yesterday, winning 10-8, and now has a 3-2 lead on one of the better teams in the tournament. Central Alabama got here by way of a 9-4 victory against Belleville State. Two count now as that ball was hit foul by Milner. Milner has scored 55 runs for this Trojan team this year. Her run here would tie the ball game. Pitch outside, and she'll draw the one-out walk. Now coming to the plate, big Kelby Johnson. Struck out in the second, flew out in the fourth. One out. South Florida Panthers meeting in the circle with their pitcher. Probably give her just a couple minute breather to get calmed down and face Johnson. Johnson, sophomore infielder, had 62 hits on the season, 13 home runs and 58 RBIs. Batted .431. A throw over to first. Ball one, strike one, 2 outs. As Darby comes to the plate. A pitch high. 2-1 count now to Darby. Trojans would really like one of those bombs that she hit. She's got 15 on the year. Hit one in the second inning. Down the left field line. Now here's a left field shot that goes foul. A 2-2 count with 2 outs to Darby. Daddy Mark Sr. back in Mumford watching this game now. Another foul hit by Darby. Or he may be at Central Clay County High School. Watching this game today. Another one-hit foul. Three straight fouls for Darby to the left side. Sister Taylor had orientation down at Auburn University yesterday, and little brother Mark at Lincoln High School, freshman. Probably got a ball in his hand, doing something in class he wasn't supposed to be doing, if I had to imagine. Here's a pop-up. Second baseman Rodriguez will go over and catch it for the third out of the inning. We're headed to the top of the seventh. Your score 3-2. We'll be back shortly here on JockJive.com. We're at the top of the seventh now. 3-2 is your score. South Florida on top and looking to add to that lead as infield playing in here. Leadoff batter Caitlin Holcomb up the plate. An 0-2 count to start this inning off. Trojans and Jenna Castleberry need to hold it at bay here, not let the Panthers score, give them one more chance to bat, and then the Panthers need to tack on a run or two here. So they can keep that lead and move on to the next round. Pitch outside. 2-2 count now. Winner of this game will face the winner of St. John's River in Marion. That's being played right now on field 4. Here's a little slapper to second. Throw over to first. Darby to Milner, or Darby to Wilson, rather, for the first out of the inning. Next up will be the second batter in the lineup, Summer Washburn, who struck out in the first, had a single in the third, scored a run in the fifth, with another, had a single there as well. Hit foul, 0-2 count now to Washburn. big swing and miss, striking out. There is Washburn. Castleberry, a little riser outside. That got Washburn. Next up, Briella Rosa, who scored a run in the 5th, struck out in the 3rd, and popped up in the 1st. Rosa takes ball 1 outside. Pitch inside, swung, hit to shallow left field, and it'll drop down for a base hit. She tries to get an extra base, slides up under the tag from Darby. The throw was there in time, but doing a good job sliding under that tag was Rosa. So she hits a single and advances to second on the throw. Really took a gamble there, trying to get that extra base, but it paid off. Here's Trinity Roar. Low inside. Almost got away from McClinsky. She done a nice job getting over there and blocking that up, keeping Rosa at second. 2 outs for Roar. 3-2 is your score. Panthers on top. Here's a grounded shortstop. Fielded. Throw to first. Got her. So the Trojans get out of that without too much damage. And they trail 3-2 as we head to the bottom of the 7th when we return here on JockJive.com. We're back here in the bottom of the 7th. Central Alabama, one more chance at this thing. Try to either take in extra innings or take the lead and get the win to move on and advance to the next round. Right now, South Florida leading 3-2. Batting will be Wilson, Trammell, and Mills. Here's Wilson, big swing. 0-2 count now to Mills. Mills hit .267 during the season. Drew 28 walks. Here's the pitch outside. Ball 1. Prylant has pitched a pretty good game. Only 1 extra base hit for the Trojans by way of the home run by Darby in the 2nd inning. Pitch, swung on, popped up. Shallow center field. Trying to go over there to get it was the second baseman. That was Rodriguez, and just come up short as it went off her glove. Shortstop was there. The center fielder was there. And second baseman covered a lot of ground to try to get to that ball and just couldn't come up with it. Big break for the Trojans. Looks like we're going to have a pinch runner for Mills at first. That will be 0-0. Pinch running for Mills. Or Wilson, rather. That's Kaylee Ackerman. Ackerman started at second base yesterday during the Bevel State game. And now batting will be Bailey Trammell, the left fielder for the Trojans. That was a tough play for the Panthers as they couldn't get the pop out. Pitch outside. Ball 2. Swung on, foul back, 2-1 count. Trojans really would like to get Ackerman down to second. Here on a pass ball, wild pitch, or a stolen base. They take either one of those. Here's a pitch, swung on, fly ball to right field, under it, and catching it is Rosa for the first out. Next up, Gracie Mills, a shortstop. Call strike. At first is Ackerman, who pinch ran for Wilson. 3-2 is your score. The Panthers on top. Trojans looking to either tie or take the lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Here's a sacrifice bunt. Throwing over to first. Gets her in time. Great job coming up to make the play was Guzman. The throw was a little low, but Underwood able to get down and get that sacrifice. It advances Ackerman to second. So now the Trojans are up to their last out of the game. Campbell McGlinskey right where they want to be, the leadoff batter for the Trojans up to plate. Ackerman's at second. Here's a pitch. Outside, low, ball 1. South Florida can hang on, will definitely be an upset in this tournament. Here's the pitch, outside again, ball 2. Pitch swung on, fly ball to right field. Up under is Rosa, making the catch. And South Florida goes on to win 3-2. Congratulations to the South Florida Panthers. They will advance to play at 1:30 today on Field 5. Stay tuned to JockJive for that game. You'll be able to pull it up on JockJive.com and watch that game. But congratulations, South Florida Panthers winning 3-2 this afternoon.